Coming to the first step of the Eightfold Path, which is Yama. What is Yama, you might ask? Yama means the don'ts or the restraints that Patanjali tells we should abstain from. Now, there are actually 5 yamas that Patanjali explains in chapter 2, Sutra 30 of Yoga Sutra. The 5 yamas are as follows. The first one, ahimsa or non-violence. The second one being satya or truthfulness. The third one is asiteya or non-stealing. The fourth one is aparigraha or non-accumulation, and the fifth and the last one is brahmacharya, which means abstinence from sensual indulgences. Now coming to the first yama, which is ahimsa. We all know ahimsa means non-violence, but Patanjali gives a broader description of what is non-violence. There are 3 different types of non-violence according to Patanjali. The first one is physical or kaikal. The second one is verbal or vachika, and the third one is mental or manasika. Coming to the first type, that is physical. We all know that we should abstain from inflicting injury or causing harm to any other body, be it animals or be it human beings. The second type is verbal, which is vachika. We should actually avoid verbal violence. Things like using vulgar or harsh words, or even doing things we all love to do, like gossiping, backbiting, or sarcasm. These are things we should definitely abstain from according to Patanjali. The third type talks about the mental violence. Mental violence is the envy, jealousy that we feel towards others, the ill will that we have towards others. It actually taints our mind much more than it affects others.
I feel that at least on Kaika and Vachika level, it must be easy to control. But then on Mansika, wouldn't it be much difficult?
Exactly. There are a lot of efforts that are needed to fulfill the third type. Now coming to the second yama, which is satya. Satya, as we all know, means truthfulness. We should speak the truth at all times. We should say and talk about the knowledge that we have and give correct opinion that we hold of a subject when one is asked about it.
So Shraddha, should we speak truth at all times, even if it harms others?
Well, actually, that's an interesting question. And the answer to this could actually be found in a maxim in Mahabharata that says that speak the truth. Speak what is pleasant. Do not speak the truth that is unpleasant, and do not speak what is pleasant but false. And hence, Dhanvi, you can see that, satya or truthfulness as a yama is not actually absolute, but instead is mendable according to the personal circumstances.
Correct.
Now, coming to the third yama, which is asiteya. Asiteya literally means non-stealing. We all know we should not steal things from others, but what more does this yama has to offer? Patanjali says that we should not only not steal things from people, but we should also not take credit, praise or work that is undeserved or unaccounted for. So anything undeservingly taken from someone else and called as our own is called as stealing.
So wouldn't plagiarism be counted as intellectual stealing, where one person uses another person's work and doesn't even give credit to them?
Exactly. And us as students should definitely avoid committing such a crime. Now, coming to the fourth yama, that is aparigraha, which means non-accumulation. This yama can actually be explained in one simple sentence. That is, we should not have things we have no use of. Everyone tells us we should be content and satisfied with the things that we have. We should not over accumulate or desire for more than our basic needs. Actually, Patanjali gives 2 reasons why we should follow this yama. The very primary reason is that the more that we accumulate, the more greedy we become, the more attached we are to the objects, and actually it taints our mind much more. Secondly, the more that we accumulate, the more desires that we have actually, deprives others of their basic needs. And I personally think that this yama should actually be followed in our daily life, in the modern world, so that we can actually accomplish the goal of sustainability.
A practice that I would suggest would be following the 3 R's of reduce, reuse and recycle. I think it would be a great example of this yama.
Exactly. And this would really help us declutter our life. Now coming to the fifth and the final yama, which is brahmacharya. Now when we think of the word brahmacharya, the meaning celibacy comes to our mind. But actually there is a much broader meaning to it. According to Patanjali, he says that we should abstain from all kind of sensual indulgences. Now what are sensual indulgences? Coming to the modern times, things like overeating, binge watching, excessively, scrolling through our social media. These are all examples of sensory overload. Our mind is kept very busy, but are we really being productive? That is a question we all need to ask. And hence, Patanjali suggests that we should actually control our senses so that we can control our mind and ultimately reach the goal of liberation.